The Beginning of the Armadillos, puppeteered by May, Christopher, Mac, and Julian. This is the story of how the armadillo came to be. Long ago there was a stickly, prickly hedgehog, and he lived on the banks of the Amazon River, eating snails and things. And he had a friend, Slow Turtle, who lived on the river too. At the same time there was a painted jaguar. He lived on the banks of the Amazon River too, and he ate everything he could catch. When he could not catch deer or monkeys, he would eat frogs and beetles. And when he could not catch frogs and beetles, he went to his mother jaguar, and she told him how to eat hedgehogs and tortoises. Mother jaguar would say to him ever so many times, graciously waving her tail, "My son, when you find a hedgehog, you must drop him into the water, and then he will uncoil. And when you catch a tortoise, you must scoop him out of his shell with your paw." And so it was that one beautiful night, on the banks of the river, baby painted jaguar found stickly prickly hedgehog and slow tortoise sitting under the trunk of a tree. They could not run away, so hedgehog curled himself up into a ball, and tortoise drew in his head and feet into his shell as far as they would go, because he was a tortoise. "Now attend to me," said baby painted jaguar, "because this is very important. My mother said that when I meet a hedgehog, I am to drop him into the water, and then he will uncoil. And when I meet a tortoise, I am to scoop him out of his shell with my paw. Now which of you is hedgehog, and which of you is tortoise? Because to save my spots, I cannot tell." "Are you sure what your mummy told you?" said the stickly prickly hedgehog. "Are you quite sure? Perhaps she said that when you uncoil tortoise, you must shell him out of the water with a scoop, and when you paw a hedgehog, you must drop him on the shell." "Are you sure what your mummy told you?" said tortoise. "Perhaps she said that when you water a hedgehog, you must drop him into your paw, and when you meet a tortoise, you must shell him till he uncoils." "I don't think it was at all like that," said painted jaguar, but he felt a little puzzled. "I only wanted to know which of you is hedgehog and which is tortoise." "I shan't tell you," said stickly prickly, "but you can scoop me out of my shell if you like." "Aha," said painted jaguar, "now I know you're tortoise. You thought I wouldn't, now I will." Painted jaguar darted out his paw, just as stickly prickly curled himself up, and jaguar's paddy paw was just filled with prickles. Worse than that, he knocked stickly prickly away and away into the woods and bushes, where it was too dark to find him. Then jaguar put his paddy paw into his mouth, and of course the prickles hurt him worse than ever. As soon as he could speak, he said, "Oh, now I know he isn't tortoise at all. But," and then he scratched his head with his unprickly paw, "how do I know that this other is tortoise?" So he trotted away to his mother, the jaguar, and they could hear painted jaguar roaring up and down among the trees until his mummy came. "Oh, Mom! Son, what is the problem?" cried his mother ever so many times, graciously waving her tail once more. "What have you been doing that you shouldn't have done?" "I tried to scoop something that said it wanted to be scooped out of its shell with my paw, and my paw is full of prickles," said painted jaguar. "The creatures are too clever on the Amazon for poor me." Son, said his mother ever so many times, waving her tail graciously. "Now listen and remember what I say. A hedgehog curls himself up into a ball, and his prickles stick out every which way at once. By this you may know the hedgehog." And then, from where they were listening in, stickly prickly said, "I don't like this old lady one bit. I wonder what else she knows." "A tortoise can't curl himself up," said Mother Jaguar, graciously waving her tail. "He only draws his head in and legs into his shell. By this you may know the tortoise." "Oh, I don't like this lady at all," said slow and solid tortoise. "Even painted jaguar can't forget those directions. It's a great pity that you can't swim, stickly prickly." "Don't talk to me," said stickly prickly. "Just think how much better it would be if you could curl up. This is a mess. Listen to painted jaguar." And baby painted jaguar was sitting on the banks of the Amazon, sucking prickles out of his paws, and saying to himself, Can't curl but can swim. Slow solid, that's him. Curls up but can't swim. Stickly prickly, that's him. Oh, he'll never forget that in a month of Sundays, said Stickly Prickly. Hold up my chin, Tortoise. I'm going to try to learn to swim. It may be useful. Excellent, said Tortoise. And Tortoise held up the hedgehog's chin while he kicked in the waters of the river. You'll make a fine swimmer yet, said the Tortoise. Now if you can unlace my back plates a little, I'll see what I can do about curling up. It may be useful. So Stickly Prickly helped to unlace Tortoise's back plates, so that by twisting and straining, the tortoise actually managed to curl up a tiny wee bit. Excellent, said the hedgehog, but I shouldn't do any more just now. It's making you black in the face. Kindly lead me to the water once again, and I'll practice that side stroke which you say is so easy. And so they practiced, and Tortoise and the hedgehog swam alongside. Excellent, said the tortoise. A little more practice will make you a regular old whale. Now, if I may trouble you to unlace my back and front plates 2 more holes more, I'll try that fascinating back bend you say is so easy. Won't that painted jaguar be surprised? Oh. And so Stickly Prickly dove into the river, and Slow and Solid the tortoise dove alongside. Excellent, said Slow and Solid. A little more attention to holding your breath, and you will be able to keep house at the bottom of the Amazon. And Painted Jaguar will be very surprised. Excellent, said Stickly Prickly, but it's straining your back plates a little when you try that. They're all overlapping now instead of lying side by side. Oh, that's just a result of exercise, said Slow and Solid. I've noticed that your prickles seem to be melting into one another, and that you're growing to look rather more like a pine cone and less like a chestnut bird. Am I? Said Stickly Prickly. That comes from my soaking in the water. Oh, Painted Jaguar sure is going to be surprised. They went on with their exercises, helping the other, till morning came. And when the sun was high, they rested and dried themselves under some trees. Then they saw that both of them were quite different from what they had been. Stickly Prickly, said Tortoise, after breakfast. I am not what I was yesterday, but I think I may yet amuse Painted Jaguar. That was the very thing I was thinking just now, said Stickly Prickly. I think scales are a tremendous improvement on prickles, to say nothing of being able to swim. Oh, won't that Jaguar be surprised? Let's go and find him. Hee 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 hee. By and by they found the baby Painted Jaguar, still nursing his patty paw that had been hurt the night before. He was so astonished that he fell 3 times backward over his own painted tail without stopping when he saw the two. Good morning, said Stickly Prickly. And how is your dear gracious mummy this morning? She is quite well, said Painted Jaguar, but you must forgive me if I do not recognize you at this precise moment or recall your name. That is unkind of you, said Stickly Prickly, seeing that this time yesterday you tried to scoop me out of my shell with your paw. But you hadn't any shell, it was all prickles, said Painted Jaguar. I know it was, just look at my patty paw. You told me to drop into the Amazon and be drowned, said the tortoise. Why are you so rude and forgetful today? Don't you remember what your mother told you? Can't curl but can swim, Slow Solid, that's him. Curls up but can't swim, Stickly Prickly, that's him. Then they both curled themselves up and rolled around and around, till Painted Jaguar's eyes turned truly cartwheels in his head. Just then he went away and ran and got his mother. Mother, he said, there are 2 new animals in the woods today, and the one that you said couldn't swim, swims, and the one that you said couldn't curls up. And they've gone shares in their prickles, I think, because both of them are scaly all over, instead of one being smooth and the other prickly. Besides that, they are rolling round and round in circles, and I don't feel comfy. Son, said Mother Jaguar ever so many times, graciously waving her tail. A hedgehog is a hedgehog, and can't be anything but a hedgehog. And a tortoise is a tortoise, and can never be anything else. But it isn't a hedgehog. It isn't a tortoise. It's a little bit of both, and I don't know its proper name. Nonsense, said Mother Jaguar. Everything has a proper name. I shall call it armadillo till I find out the real name. And I should leave it alone. So Painted Jaguar did as he was told, especially about leaving them alone. But the curious thing is that from that day on, no one on the banks of the Amazon has ever called hedgehog and turtle anything except for armadillo. There are hedgehogs and tortoises in other places, of course, but the real and old and clever kind that lived on the banks of the Amazon long ago are always called armadillos because they were so clever. The end. Now the puppets take a bow on stage. Come back on stage. Yay! Press record.